Hello everyone and welcome to Unit 2, Transformations. This first lesson requires you to remember some stuff from last year about reflections. So we are going to take a look at the coordinate 4, 2, which is this point right here. We'll call it A, and we're going to reflect it over the x-axis. In order to reflect it over the x-axis, this is my x-axis, so it has to be equidistant. I can count that this is 2 boxes, so it's going to go 2 boxes below, and it's going to be right here. I'm going to call that A prime. The coordinates there would definitely be 4, negative 2. So if I reflect over the x-axis, I basically negate the y. And the next one, if I am reflecting over the y-axis, let's remember that this is the y-axis, and if I was to reflect that over the y-axis, I would count 4 boxes to the left, and then I would continue 4 more boxes to the left, and my new coordinate in this case would be negative 4, 2. Negative 4, 2. And think about that for a second. The rule there would be to negate the x. In the next one, it talks about reflecting over the line y equals x. You want to be careful. The line y equals x is a diagonal line that goes through the origin. And if I was to reflect this point, it would probably wind up here. And if you did that with a compass or if you did it with a ruler, you would definitely see that that coordinate is now 2, 4. And then the last one, reflecting over the line x equals 1. It's super important that you count the boxes. 1, 2, 3 boxes. So this is a distance of 3. If I went a distance of 3 more from there, 1, 2, 3, I would be at this coordinate here. And you want to be careful. This is your origin. So if I counted the boxes from my origin, my new coordinate would definitely be negative 2, 2. So in this case, you want to count the boxes. There are a summary of rules down here. If I'm to reflect over the x-axis, my new coordinate would be x, negative y. I simply negate the y. If I was to reflect over the y-axis, my coordinate would be negative x, y. I simply negate the x. And if I was to reflect over the line y equals x, my rule there would actually be y, x. So in the first case, we're going to negate the y. In the second case, we're going to negate the x. And in the last case, we're actually going to just switch the coordinates. X, y becomes y, x. Moving on to the next page. So this is an interesting one. It talks about, first of all, a transformation. So a transformation is a change in the position, shape, or size of the figure. A rigid motion, that's very important in Common Core geometry. A rigid motion is one that changes only the position of the figure, and the length and the angle measures are preserved. And then the last one, an image, is the result of a transformation of a figure called the pre-image. So that's what I was talking about before, where we had A and A prime. So the image of point A is A prime. Now, in this case, it's talking about graphing this triangle on the axis provided, and then reflecting over the x-axis, and then reflecting over the y-axis. So we're going to do them one at a time. The most important part about this, though, is that we label our triangle on the bottom. I'm going to write A, coordinate negative 5, 1. B is negative 1, 1. And C is negative 1, 7. The way that we denote a transformation is with an arrow, and I'm going to write lowercase r, reflection over the x-axis. When I do that, it becomes A prime, B prime, C prime, and if we remember the rule from the previous page, it's simply to negate the y. So this is going to be negative 5, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, and negative 1, negative 7. Before I go any further, I'm going to plot this. So I'm going to count. Go ahead and plot it for a second, please. So go ahead and please make sure that that's drawn correctly. So it's A, B, and C I have in black, and A prime, B prime, C prime I have in red. And if you look carefully, it definitely appears as though we have reflected it over the x-axis. So again, this is my x-axis right here. and if I took this big triangle, the black one in this case, and reflected it over the x-axis, it would wind up on the bottom there. So in the next case, we're going to look at reflecting the image of triangle ABC, the original one, over the y-axis. So now, in order to do that, I'm going to rewrite the coordinates again. So I'm going to write them A, B, C. This is going to be negative 5, 1, negative 1, 1, and negative 1, 7. I'm going to draw a blue arrow, in this case, a reflection over the y-axis. And in this case, it's going to go to A double prime. So I'm going to do A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. And remember, the rule to go over the y-axis was simply to negate the x. So this is going to become 5, 1, 1, 1, and 1, 7. So please make sure you go back to your picture and let's plot those points. I'm going to do it on pause. Okay, so please go ahead and make sure that that is now graphed on your axes as well. So we have three triangles, in this case A, B, C, A prime, B prime, C prime, and A double prime, B double prime, C prime. So again, just to recap, reflecting over the x-axis, we're going to negate the y. Reflecting over the y-axis, we're going to negate the x. And reflecting over the line y equals x, we're going to switch the coordinates so it would become y, x. Thanks, and I'll see you later.